Fans are shocked as rumors swirl around Yandy, Mendeecees, and Rasheeda, igniting a storm of speculation that has social media buzzing nonstop. According to insiders, tensions within this high-profile circle are reaching a boiling point, with whispers of hidden truths and long-kept secrets threatening to surface. Viewers are left wondering what is really happening behind closed doors, and whether loyalties are being tested in ways no one anticipated. Emotions ran high as friends and family reportedly attempted to mediate. Yet sources suggest that every attempt at calm only seemed to fan the flames of drama. Allegedly, Sierra has become a central figure in revealing intimate details, creating ripples that could change how fans see the dynamics between Yandy, Mendeecees, and Rasheeda. From heated conversations to surprising confrontations, insiders claim that the family was left divided, with opinions split and tensions escalating with each new revelation. Some sources say that what started as private frustrations has now taken on a life of its own, with every move scrutinized by fans and onlookers alike. As whispers of betrayal, misunderstandings, and emotional breakdowns spread, the anticipation grows. Will the chaos reach a breaking point, or is there a chance for reconciliation? With emotions running high and secrets on the verge of exposure, the story unfolding around Yandy, Mendeecees, Rasheeda, and Sierra promises twists that will leave viewers glued to every shocking detail. The drama reportedly began when Sierra allegedly shared concerns with close friends about the dynamics between Yandy, Mendeecees, and Rasheeda. Sources say that she noticed subtle shifts in behavior that suggested unresolved issues were bubbling just beneath the surface. Friends report that Sierra's perspective was not meant to ignite controversy, but to shed light on patterns that had gone unnoticed for months. Apparently, her observations sparked conversations that revealed just how complex the relationships had become, leaving everyone involved on edge and fans speculating about every public interaction. According to insiders, Yandy has been navigating a delicate balance of emotional vulnerability and public expectation. Friends claim that she expressed moments of deep frustration, feeling misunderstood by those closest to her. One source allegedly shared that Yandy confided, "Sometimes it feels like no one sees what I'm going through, and the pressure is overwhelming." This emotional openness reportedly led to private discussions with Sierra, in which they examined the nuances of her marriage to Mendeecees and the interactions with Rasheeda. These conversations, while personal, are said to have contributed to whispers that eventually reached social media, where speculation only intensified. Mendeecees, according to insiders, has also been caught in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Reportedly, he struggled with feelings of defensiveness and concern about public perception, while simultaneously attempting to navigate the challenges in his marriage. Sources suggest that he engaged in several lengthy discussions with friends and family, expressing the need for clarity and accountability without completely revealing private details. Friends describe him as being torn between protecting his personal life and addressing concerns raised by Sierra's observations, which allegedly highlighted patterns of miscommunication and unresolved tension. Rasheed, as sources claim, became aware of the ripple effects Sierra's revelations were creating. Reportedly, she felt a mixture of concern and curiosity, seeking to understand the nature of the allegations without directly confronting Yandy or Mendeecees. Insiders say that she monitored interactions and attempted to mediate where possible, recognizing that unresolved issues could escalate if not addressed with care. Friends indicate that Rasheeda's involvement, while measured, added another layer of complexity, as her presence reminded both Yandy and Mendeecees of the interconnected nature of their personal and social circles. According to sources, tensions escalated during a dinner where Yandy and Mendeecees were allegedly joined by Sierra and a few trusted friends. Emotions reportedly ran high as the conversation touched on sensitive topics related to loyalty, trust, and past misunderstandings. Insiders claim that voices were raised at times, with moments of silence punctuated by expressions of frustration and hurt. One friend allegedly recalled that Yandy said, "I need to understand how we got here, because it feels like everything is unraveling." Mendeecees reportedly responded with a combination of defensiveness and concern, emphasizing the importance of clarity and mutual respect. The family was left divided as each person processed the tension in different ways, with some advocating for resolution and others feeling uncertain about the best path forward. Sources say that the social media reaction added another dimension to the unfolding drama. Fans reportedly dissected posts, stories, and cryptic messages, creating an environment where private discussions were interpreted publicly and assumptions spread quickly. Friends suggest that the couple felt pressure from this external scrutiny, as every interaction was magnified and analyzed. Insiders claim that the stress of public attention compounded existing emotional challenges, making it difficult for Yandy and Mendeecees to navigate their issues without distraction or judgment. Ciara's role, according to sources, was pivotal in bringing underlying conflicts to light. Reportedly, her candid observations encouraged both Yandy and Mendeecees to examine patterns they had previously overlooked. Friends indicate that Ciara highlighted moments where communication broke down and where small grievances accumulated into larger tensions. Insiders suggest that this level of insight, while initially uncomfortable for those involved, provided a foundation for understanding and potential reconciliation, demonstrating the impact that an outside perspective can have on deeply personal dynamics. Friends report that during the following weeks, conversations between Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly became more intentional and reflective. Sources claim that they attempted to address lingering questions and clarify past misunderstandings. Allegedly, they established private spaces for open dialogue, away from the pressure of public attention and social media speculation. Insiders describe moments of vulnerability, where Yandy expressed feelings of emotional exhaustion and Mendeecees acknowledged areas where he had contributed to ongoing tension. These exchanges, while challenging, reportedly marked a turning point in the way they approached communication and conflict resolution. RASHEED involvement, as sources suggest, continued to be strategic. Friends say that she offered guidance on managing stress and maintaining perspective, emphasizing the importance of empathy and patience. Insiders indicate that her approach allowed Yandy and Mendeecees to engage in discussions without immediate defensiveness, creating an environment where difficult topics could be explored more constructively. Reportedly, this support system helped the couple navigate emotional highs and lows, reducing the intensity of confrontations and promoting more thoughtful interaction. According to insiders, the intensity of emotions occasionally reached a tipping point. Reportedly, there were moments of confrontation where voices were raised, tears were shed, and frustrations were expressed openly. Friends claim that these moments, while tense, were necessary for airing grievances and addressing accumulated stress. Insiders suggest that confronting these challenges head-on rather than suppressing them provided opportunities for personal growth and mutual understanding. Even as the emotional stakes remained high, sources indicate that throughout this period, fans remained deeply engaged. Reportedly, every subtle social media post or public interaction was analyzed, with fans speculating about potential outcomes and motivations. Friends describe an atmosphere where public curiosity added pressure but also reinforced the significance of transparency and honest communication. Insiders suggest that the awareness of being observed encouraged Yandy and Mendeecees to reflect more deeply on their actions, words, and emotional responses. Knowing that the public eye was closely monitoring the unfolding drama, according to friends, incremental progress began to emerge despite the tension. Reportedly, small gestures of understanding, acknowledgement, and compromise helped maintain hope for a positive outcome. Insiders claim that recognizing and celebrating these small victories was essential to sustaining motivation and preventing setbacks from derailing progress. Yandy reportedly appreciated moments when Mendeecees listened without interruption, and Mendeecees reportedly valued instances where Yandy expressed her feelings calmly and constructively. Sources suggest that Ciara's continued presence provided accountability and perspective. Friends report that she encouraged reflective thinking and emphasized the importance of addressing root causes rather than surface-level symptoms. Insiders claim that her involvement, while sometimes uncomfortable, helped maintain focus on long-term solutions, guiding Yandy and Mendeecees toward greater emotional clarity and understanding. As the weeks progressed, reportedly, Yandy and Mendeecees navigated a delicate balance of confrontation and connection. Sources say that moments of intense discussion were followed by periods of reflection, allowing both parties to process emotions before engaging further. Friends indicate that this pattern contributed to more meaningful dialogue and a clearer understanding of personal boundaries, needs, and expectations. Insiders suggest that although the journey remained complex, the couple demonstrated resilience and a willingness to engage in the hard work necessary to address ongoing challenges. Overall, insiders report that the combination of Sierra's revelations, Rasheeda's guidance, and mutual reflection created a framework for navigating the chaos. Reportedly, the couple began to identify patterns, communicate more effectively, and address unresolved issues with greater intention. Friends claim that while emotions continued to run high, the efforts to foster understanding, maintain accountability, and prioritize meaningful dialogue offered hope that the marriage could survive public scrutiny and personal challenges. Alike, according to insiders, the tension between Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly escalated during a weekend gathering that included close friends and family. Sources claim that while the meeting was intended to foster understanding, emotions ran high as old grievances resurfaced. Friends report that subtle remarks, previously unnoticed, were interpreted as signs of lingering resentment, causing moments of awkward silence punctuated by visible discomfort. Sierra, as insiders suggest, quietly observed these interactions, offering guidance when necessary, but mostly letting the couple process their feelings independently. The presence of an impartial observer reportedly highlighted unspoken tensions, pushing Yandy and Mendeecees to confront issues they might otherwise have avoided. Friends claim that during the gathering, Yandy expressed a mix of frustration and vulnerability. Reportedly, she confided to Sierra that she felt her voice had been overshadowed by public scrutiny and past misunderstandings. Insiders indicate that she said, "Sometimes it feels like I'm speaking and no one is listening, and it's exhausting trying to keep up appearances while feeling unheard." Mendeecees, according to sources, responded with a blend of defensiveness and concern, emphasizing his own struggles in balancing private challenges with the pressures of public life. Friends describe a scene where emotions ran high, with small gestures and expressions, revealing deep-seated feelings of hurt and disappointment. Sources suggest that the conversation inevitably touched on past misunderstandings involving Rasheeda. Reportedly, her influence and presence in the circle created a mixture of relief and unease. As both Yandy and Mendeecees navigated her role as mediator and confidant, friends report that Rasheeda remained calm and composed, offering gentle reminders about perspective, patience, and empathy. Insiders claim that her input helped prevent conversations from devolving into argument, instead fostering a space where grievances could be aired and explored thoughtfully. According to insiders, Sierra later facilitated a private discussion between Yandy and Mendeecees, aiming to uncover the underlying causes of tension without judgment. Friends say that this discussion revealed patterns of miscommunication, assumptions, and unspoken expectations that had contributed to growing frustration. Reportedly, both parties acknowledged moments where they felt misunderstood, undervalued, or unsupported. Sources indicate that these admissions, while emotionally charged, laid the groundwork for a more constructive dialogue and offered glimpses of hope for reconciliation. Friends suggest that public perception continued to complicate matters. Reportedly, fans were highly engaged analyzing social media posts, cryptic comments, and interactions for clues about the couple's state of mind. Insiders claim that this external scrutiny created an additional layer of pressure, making it difficult for Yandy and Mendeecees to fully separate personal emotions from public interpretation. According to sources, Sierra advised them to focus on private resolution and avoid letting online speculation dictate their feelings or decisions. Sources report that during these weeks, emotional outbursts occasionally punctuated otherwise calm discussions. Reportedly, Yandy experienced moments of frustration where tears were shed, and Mendeecees expressed anger or defensiveness when feeling misunderstood. Friends indicate that despite these challenges, both were committed to listening and understanding each other's perspective, recognizing that emotional honesty was essential for any progress. Insiders claim that acknowledging vulnerabilities, even in uncomfortable ways, helped deepen their connection and build trust incrementally, according to friends. Sierra's involvement extended beyond observation, providing emotional clarity and guidance. Reportedly, she helped both Yandy and Mendeecees articulate their feelings, identify recurring patterns, and establish strategies for preventing future misunderstandings. Insiders suggest that her approach encouraged patience, reflection, and a focus on solutions rather than blame, allowing the couple to navigate emotionally charged topics with greater awareness and NTENTIONALITY. Friends report that small gestures began to have significant impact. Reportedly, moments of acknowledgement, active listening, and empathy helped reduce tension and fostered a sense of partnership. Insiders claim that simple acts such as expressing appreciation for honesty or taking time to understand one another's perspective contributed to meaningful progress. Sources indicate that these small victories, while not erasing past difficulties, offered tangible proof that reconciliation and mutual understanding were possible. According to insiders, as conversations deepened, Yandy and Mendeecees began to confront unspoken expectations that had fueled previous misunderstandings. Friends suggest that they examined assumptions about communication, decision-making, and emotional support. Reportedly, this introspection allowed each party to recognize how their own behaviors may have inadvertently contributed to tension, leading to moments of accountability and self-awareness. Insiders claim that these reflections, though difficult, were essential for building a foundation of trust and preventing the recurrence of past conflicts. Friends report that Rasheeda continued to provide stability, offering advice rooted in empathy and experience. Reportedly, she emphasized the importance of pacing discussions, allowing space for reflection, and approaching disagreements with patience. Insiders indicate that her guidance helped create an environment where emotionally charged topics could be addressed without escalating into conflict, reinforcing the value of thoughtful mediation in navigating complex relational dynamics. Sources say that over time, Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly began to anticipate each other's needs and communicate with greater clarity. Friends claim that they implemented strategies for checking in, expressing appreciation, and addressing concerns proactively. Insiders suggest that these adjustments, though small, signaled the commitment to sustained improvement and a willingness to invest in the relationship despite ongoing challenges. According to insiders, fan reactions continued to influence the couple's approach. Reportedly, they became more conscious of how public perception intersected with personal dynamics, recognizing that transparency and authenticity were critical to maintaining credibility while managing emotional complexity. Friends indicate that Sierra encouraged them to balance public scrutiny with private reflection, emphasizing the importance of maintaining focus on personal growth and mutual understanding rather than external validation. Sources report that in the midst of these developments, moments of levity and connection emerged. Friends suggest that shared humor, mutual appreciation, and small celebrations of progress helped alleviate tension and reinforce the bond between Yandy and Mendeecees. Insiders claim that these experiences reminded both parties of the underlying affection and respect that had initially brought them together, providing motivation to continue navigating challenges with intention and care. According to insiders, Sierra's guidance remained crucial as discussions touched on sensitive topics, including family involvement, past grievances, and unresolved emotional wounds. Friends report that she encouraged the couple to explore these areas with honesty and empathy, fostering understanding and reducing defensiveness. Insiders claim that this approach allowed Yandy and Mendeecees to confront difficult subjects without escalating conflict, ultimately contributing to a more constructive path forward. Sources indicate that over time, patterns of reflection, communication, and empathy reportedly strengthened the couple's ability to navigate emotionally charged situations. Friends suggest that while moments of tension persisted, both Yandy and Mendeecees demonstrated a growing commitment to understanding each other and addressing underlying challenges. Insiders claim that these efforts, guided by Sierra's observations and Rasheeda's support, helped create a foundation for ongoing dialogue and mutual respect, reinforcing the possibility of maintaining a strong, connected relationship despite public scrutiny. Overall, insiders report that the combination of candid discussion, external guidance, and intentional reflection allowed Yandy and Mendeecees to confront long-standing challenges with renewed clarity. Friends suggest that while emotions continued to run high, the couple's dedication to understanding each other, fostering empathy, and communicating openly provided hope that their relationship could weather both personal and public pressures, offering fans a glimpse into the resilience required to navigate complex realities behind the scenes. According to insiders, the following weeks reportedly brought new challenges for Yandy and Mendeecees as past tensions resurfaced in unexpected ways. Friends claim that small disagreements escalated more quickly than before, fueled by accumulated stress and lingering insecurities. Reportedly, one evening during a private dinner, emotions ran high as both expressed frustrations that had been simmering beneath the surface. Sources suggest that Yandy confronted Mendeecees about feeling overlooked in certain decisions, while he expressed frustration over perceived misunderstandings about his intentions. The family was left divided in that moment, with friends observing the strain and acknowledging the difficulty of balancing private feelings with public perception. Friends report that Sierra remained a steady presence, gently encouraging both to articulate their feelings without judgment. Reportedly, she emphasized the importance of listening to understand rather than respond, a strategy that allowed each party to express vulnerability without immediately reacting defensively. Insiders suggest that this approach, while emotionally taxing, helped illuminate recurring patterns in their interactions, giving Yandy and Mendeecees insight into triggers and emotional responses that had previously gone unexamined. According to sources, Rasheeda also played a key role during this period. Friends claim that she offered perspective based on her own experiences, helping both parties recognize how miscommunication had magnified small conflicts. Reportedly, Rasheeda's calm and empathetic guidance created moments where Yandy and Mendeecees could pause, reflect, and reset the tone of their interactions. Insiders suggest that her support was instrumental in preventing arguments from escalating into prolonged confrontations, reinforcing the importance of thoughtful mediation in emotionally charged situations. Sources indicate that social media speculation added another layer of complexity. Reportedly, fans closely monitored interactions, interpreting subtle cues and cryptic posts as evidence of unresolved tension. Friends say that this public scrutiny created pressure for the couple to maintain appearances while simultaneously managing private emotions. Insiders suggest that Yandy and Mendeecees felt the weight of expectation from both fans and peers, making it challenging to navigate emotional honesty without concern for perception. According to insiders, the couple attempted to establish clearer communication routines during this time. Reportedly, they introduced structured moments for check-ins, allowing each person to express feelings, clarify misunderstandings, and set intentions for the day or week. Friends claim that these practices, while initially uncomfortable, gradually fostered a sense of stability and mutual respect. Insiders suggest that consistent communication, even during emotionally charged periods, helped reduce misinterpretation and created space for proactive resolution of minor conflicts before they became major issues. Friends report that tension occasionally resurfaced when discussing sensitive topics related to past decisions and perceived slights. Reportedly, these conversations were emotionally intense, with tears, raised voices, and moments of silence as both parties processed feelings. Insiders suggest that acknowledging these raw emotions was essential for long-term healing, as avoiding them had previously contributed to recurring misunderstandings. Sources indicate that despite the difficulty, both Yandy and Mendeecees demonstrated a commitment to working through emotional discomfort in pursuit of understanding and connection. According to insiders, Sierra facilitated a series of reflective exercises to encourage self-awareness. Reportedly, she asked each person to examine personal triggers, identify recurring patterns, and consider how past behaviors influenced current emotions. Friends suggest that these exercises led to several breakthroughs, with Yandy recognizing ways in which her expectations sometimes created tension, and Mendeecees acknowledging moments where his defensive reactions may have exacerbated conflict. Insiders claim that these realizations, while challenging, fostered empathy and a shared commitment to improving communication. Sources indicate that Rasheeda's role remained critical during moments of heightened emotion. Friends report that she helped redirect discussions from blame to understanding, reminding both Yandy and Mendeecees of their shared goals and values. Reportedly, her input allowed for emotional expression without escalating into destructive argument, helping both parties focus on solutions rather than dwelling on past mistakes. Insiders suggest that this balanced approach reinforced the importance of external support in navigating complex relational dynamics, particularly when emotions are running high. According to friends, moments of progress began to accumulate. Reportedly, Yandy and Mendeecees experienced small victories in listening, validating feelings, and expressing appreciation. Insiders claim that these moments, while seemingly minor, contributed to a larger sense of connection and trust. Sources suggest that recognizing and celebrating these incremental successes reinforce the value of effort, patience, and emotional honesty in maintaining a healthy relationship under public scrutiny. Friends report that despite these gains, underlying stressors continued to challenge the couple. Reportedly, external pressures from social circles, family expectations, and ongoing media speculation often reignited old insecurities. Insiders suggest that navigating these challenges required both resilience and intentional reflection, as each partner needed to balance personal feelings with awareness of the broader social context. Sources claim that Yandy and Mendeecees increasingly relied on established communication practices, reflection exercises, and guidance from Sierra and Rasheeda to maintain equilibrium during emotionally charged periods. According to insiders, the cumulative effect of these practices reportedly led to more constructive conflict resolution. Friends indicate that the couple became adept at recognizing triggers, pausing before reacting, and approaching disagreements with curiosity rather than defensiveness. Reportedly, this shift allowed them to address sensitive topics without escalating tension unnecessarily, fostering a more collaborative and empathetic approach to problem-solving. Insiders suggest that these developments marked a significant evolution in their relationship dynamics, demonstrating growth, accountability, and a commitment to sustaining connection despite challenges. Sources claim that moments of levity and bonding began to re-emerge. Friends report that shared humor, casual conversations, and appreciation for each other's efforts created opportunities for reconnection. Reportedly, these experiences reminded Yandy and Mendeecees of the underlying affection and shared history that had initially drawn them together, providing motivation to continue navigating challenges with patience, empathy, and intentionality. Insiders suggest that these lighter moments played a critical role in offsetting emotional intensity and reinforcing resilience within the relationship. According to insiders, Sierra's observations and interventions continued to provide clarity and perspective. Reportedly, she encouraged both Yandy and Mendeecees to maintain focus on long-term growth rather than immediate reactions, emphasizing the importance of self-awareness, empathy, and intentional communication. Friends suggest that this guidance allowed the couple to approach emotionally charged situations with a greater sense of control and understanding. ultimately fostering healthier patterns of interaction and deeper mutual insight. Sources indicate that as the weeks progressed, Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly developed a renewed commitment to navigating their marriage with transparency and authenticity. Friends claim that small gestures of appreciation, verbal acknowledgement, and active listening contributed to a growing sense of stability. Insiders suggest that although emotional intensity remained, the couple's consistent efforts to communicate openly and reflect on past behaviors fostered a foundation for ongoing improvement, resilience, and deeper understanding within the relationship. Overall, insiders report that the combination of candid discussion, guided reflection, and external support provided Yandy and Mendeecees with tools to address lingering tension. Friends suggest that while challenges persisted, the couple demonstrated dedication, empathy, and willingness to confront difficult emotions constructively. Reportedly, these efforts allowed them to navigate complex dynamics with greater awareness, emotional maturity, and commitment to sustaining connection, offering fans a behind-the-scenes glimpse into the ongoing journey of a marriage under intense public scrutiny. According to insiders, the weeks following their earlier discussions reportedly saw Yandy and Mendeecees striving to rebuild trust and connection in practical ways. Friends claim that they implemented consistent check-ins, where each could express feelings, clarify intentions, and share concerns without fear of judgment. Reportedly, these moments, though sometimes emotionally intense, created opportunities for transparency and helped prevent misunderstandings from escalating. Insiders suggest that acknowledging vulnerabilities openly strengthened their bond and reinforced their commitment to navigating challenges together. Despite the ongoing pressures of public scrutiny, friends report that Sierra continued to offer guidance, observing patterns of communication and providing feedback to foster more constructive interaction. Reportedly, she emphasized the importance of empathy, active listening, and validating each other's feelings, particularly during emotionally charged moments. Insiders claim that this guidance allowed Yandy and Mendeecees to approach conflicts with patience and intentionality, reducing the likelihood of reactive or defensive behavior. Sources suggest that her presence, even indirectly, created a sense of accountability and encouraged both partners to engage thoughtfully in the relationship. According to insiders, Rasheeda also remained a crucial stabilizing figure. Friends report that she offered perspective based on her experience, reminding both Yandy and Mendeecees of the value of mutual respect and understanding. Reportedly, she helped them navigate sensitive topics without escalating tensions, encouraging reflection rather than confrontation. Insiders suggest that her support was instrumental in helping the couple maintain focus on long-term growth and emotional maturity, reinforcing the importance of trusted confidants in complex relational dynamics. Sources indicate that public scrutiny continued to be a source of stress. Reportedly, fans and social media followers closely monitored interactions, often interpreting subtle gestures or comments as evidence of unresolved issues. Friends claim that this external pressure added complexity to private discussions, as both Yandy and Mendeecees sought to balance emotional honesty with awareness of how their actions might be perceived. Insiders suggest that this dynamic required careful navigation, emphasizing the importance of maintaining boundaries and prioritizing personal and relational health over public interpretation. According to friends, despite these pressures, moments of connection and levity emerged. Reportedly, small celebrations of progress, shared humor, and acknowledgement of each other's efforts helped alleviate tension and reinforce a sense of partnership. Insiders claim that these experiences reminded Yandy and Mendeecees of the affection and shared history that formed the foundation of their relationship, providing motivation to continue working through challenges with patience, empathy, and intentionality. Sources report that ongoing communication exercises, reflection, and guided mediation helped the couple address recurring patterns. Friends suggest that they became increasingly adept at recognizing triggers, pausing before reacting and approaching disagreements with curiosity and understanding rather than defensiveness. Reportedly, these adjustments allowed Yandy and Mendeecees to discuss sensitive topics, such as past misunderstandings or family involvement, with greater clarity and emotional control. Insiders indicate that this evolution marked a significant step toward healthier relationship dynamics and deeper mutual understanding. According to insiders, emotional breakthroughs occurred when both partners took responsibility for their contributions to tension. Reportedly, Yandy acknowledged moments when assumptions or expectations intensified conflict, while Mendeecees recognized times when defensiveness overshadowed communication. Friends claim that these admissions, though emotionally taxing, fostered empathy and encouraged mutual accountability. Insiders suggest that confronting these dynamics directly allowed the couple to rebuild trust incrementally and reinforce their commitment to growth and collaboration. Sources indicate that Sierra's facilitation of reflection and dialogue remains central. Reportedly, she encouraged each partner to articulate needs, validate feelings, and consider long-term implications of communication choices. Friends suggest that this approach allowed Yandy and Mendeecees to navigate emotionally charged conversations with greater awareness, reducing the likelihood of misinterpretation and fostering productive engagement even in moments of tension. Insiders claim that her continued presence, whether through direct guidance or observation, helped maintain a focus on resolution and understanding rather than blame. According to friends, moments of progress began to consolidate into more consistent patterns of healthy interaction. Reportedly, Yandy and Mendeecees developed a rhythm of communication that balanced emotional expression with reflection and problem-solving. Insiders suggest that they became more proactive in addressing concerns before they escalated and more intentional in offering validation and support. Sources indicate that these changes, while subtle, had a significant impact on overall relationship stability and emotional connection. Friends report that small gestures such as expressions of gratitude, acknowledgement of efforts, and shared humor contributed meaningfully to rebuilding intimacy. Reportedly, these practices reinforced the couple's sense of partnership and reminded them of the importance of maintaining both emotional closeness and mutual respect. Insiders claim that recognizing incremental improvements helped sustain motivation and provided reassurance that consistent effort could overcome previous challenges and emotional strain. According to insiders, the couple also navigated external challenges together, including media speculation and public scrutiny. Reportedly, they established strategies for maintaining privacy and managing public perception without sacrificing emotional authenticity. Friends suggest that balancing transparency with boundaries allowed them to protect the relationship from unnecessary stress, while fostering a sense of agency and control over their personal narrative. Insiders indicate that this approach contributed to increased confidence in managing both personal and public dimensions of their marriage. Sources report that, over time, Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly developed a more nuanced understanding of each other's emotional landscape. Friends claim that they became more attuned to subtle cues, anticipated needs, and recognized moments requiring empathy or space. Reportedly, these developments allowed them to navigate complex emotional scenarios with greater fluidity, reducing conflict and enhancing mutual understanding. Insiders suggest that this growing emotional literacy represented a key factor in fostering resilience and sustaining connection under pressure. According to insiders, the combined influence of Sierra's guidance, Rasheeda's support, and deliberate communication strategies reportedly strengthened the couple's ability to handle challenges collaboratively. Friends indicate that while emotional intensity remained, Yandy and Mendeecees increasingly approached conflicts with curiosity, patience, and mutual respect. Reportedly, this evolution underscored the importance of intentional effort, self-awareness, and external support in maintaining a strong and connected relationship. Sources suggest that these cumulative efforts ultimately allowed Yandy and Mendeecees to reclaim a sense of stability and partnership, Friends report that they experienced moments of reconciliation, laughter, and emotional intimacy that had been strained by past misunderstandings. Reportedly, these experiences reinforced their commitment to sustaining growth, deepening connection, and navigating challenges with empathy and accountability. Insiders claim that the journey, while ongoing, highlighted the resilience and dedication required to maintain a marriage under intense personal and public pressures. According to friends, as the weeks progressed, the couple reportedly continued to refine communication strategies, establish healthy boundaries, and address emerging concerns with intentionality. Reportedly, these consistent practices fostered a sense of security and trust, enabling them to manage both emotional complexity and external scrutiny more effectively. Insiders suggest that these developments demonstrated the power of reflection, mediation, and proactive engagement in maintaining relational stability and mutual understanding. Overall, sources indicate that Yandy and Mendeecees' journey, supported by Sierra and Rasheeda, reportedly reflected a continuous commitment to growth, empathy, and emotional accountability. Friends claim that despite ongoing challenges, the couple demonstrated resilience, intentionality, and dedication to sustaining a strong partnership. Reportedly, their evolving communication practices, reflective strategies, and reliance on trusted support systems provided a framework for navigating complex dynamics, offering fans insight into the behind-the-scenes efforts required to maintain a relationship under public scrutiny. As the dust begins to settle, fans are left wondering what the future holds for Yandy and Mendeecees. Emotions ran high, revelations surfaced, and family dynamics were tested like never before. Sierra's interventions and Rasheeda's support reportedly gave the couple tools to face lingering tension. Yet questions still linger. Will their marriage emerge stronger after confronting hidden truths? Or are these cracks too deep to repair? The journey of Yandy and Mendeecees shows how love, communication, and resilience are constantly being tested, especially when private matters unfold under the scrutiny of fans and the media. Throughout this turmoil, we've seen moments of vulnerability, heated arguments, and surprising admissions that have left everyone close to the situation reflecting on the delicate balance between trust, honesty, and public perception. Emotions ran high, and the family was left divided at times. Yet small victories and acts of empathy have reminded both Yandy and Mendeecees of the foundation that brought them together in the first place. Sierra and Rasheeda's guidance reportedly played a pivotal role, helping the couple navigate emotional minefields and offering lessons on understanding, patience, and accountability. Now it's over to you. What do you think about the unfolding drama? Will Yandy and Mendeecees overcome these challenges? Or is this the beginning of a more permanent shift in their relationship? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed this inside look at the chaos and tension. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any updates on your favorite reality TV stars. Click that notification bell to stay in the loop because, as we've seen in the world of love, drama, and secrets, things are never quite what they seem. Your opinion matters. Jump into the conversation now and let us know how you think this story will continue to unfold.